All right. Well, there it is. Let me double check. All right, good. Everything can be seen. Awesome. Performance mode, doink. All right. Thank you to our viewer. Appreciate the person joining us on this lovely Saturday day here in the Seattle area, at least. We're looking at about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, or 16 degrees C, if you will. So for those of you watching, a lot has happened in the last at least 24 hours. I don't feel comfortable going ahead with the Discord, but at this point, it's going to be an iterative process, just like the rest of the channels and things that we're going to be doing on this Discord. So I have gone ahead and given it out to general population. What we have done is tried to keep the channels very minimal, and we'll build on them as we go along. Right now, if you go to our Slack, which we've had for several years, we've had build up and build up and build up of channels. And when I initially built those out, I added like 20 channels. And then, I don't want to say it's a nightmare to moderate, because our community is self-moderating, so it's kind of cool. People know the code of conduct, and they tend to self-police themselves, which is, to be honest, I think 90% of the battle in building a community is to understand, is this agreeable to what's in the rest of the community, and to abide by the social contract being what it is. So I have a bot on there that is going to do role management. So if you click on the invite, which is in our Slack channel, or not Slack channel, but the stream channel chat, it will take you to the rules and info. And actually, I don't know why Discord does this, but it's a community server. So there's like the community agreement, and then there's the regular agreement. I don't know why it did both of those. But so you agree to the first one. It has a few bits of writing, but then the other one I shamelessly borrowed from some kind of tutorial on Discord on how to set things up. And just go to the bottom, click OK, and you'll be granted into one of our many, many channels, including Hallway Chat, which is our general chat based on Hallway Con, or Lobby Con in this case, where you see... Cool. Hey, Cole Alt Delete, thank you so much for using your Prime Gaming subscription. I appreciate that. Oh my God, that's awesome. This is the screen that you'll see when we come in. We have a ton of channels: defense, offense, OSINT, and social engineering. I felt like that one kind of covered both areas, so it would have been a little weird putting it off on its own. And then a threat intelligence channel. So if you are a blue teamer, or you're just trying to find ways to protect yourself and your organization, maybe you are, not in a threat intelligence role, but you like to keep track of things. I mean, there's a ton of resources out there on Twitter and elsewhere where you can go and look. Cyber Gladius, of course. Thank you, Cyber, for the webcast from Sands on Russian APT. So that's a pretty good webcast if you want to go check that out. I had to move the level up announcements into its own channel because the bot was just being kind of annoying. I don't know what we're going to do with the bot level stuff yet. I mean, ideally, it may be that, the idea is you put in enough posts where you make higher and higher levels without spamming people. And, we can grant you specific channels based on your level. So if you make level 15, for instance, then we may put you in our level 15 tier, or I don't know what amounts to the champagne room, if you will, here. So there's a ton of other channels, including supporters. So we have a Patreon lounge for our Patreon supporters. If you're a subscriber, you can, like Cole Alt Delete just did, thank you very much. If you go and join our Discord, Cole, we'll add you to our subscriber area where you can, hang out. I mean, the social contract and all the rules still apply in these specific channels, but you'll have your own, little place where people can go and hang out and talk about things in addition to what's going on there. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a good point. That's a good point in XVL, Nick. Yeah. And, it has to be, ideally, there's no spamming. to further discourage spamming, I think I've set at least a 5-second wait for posts on each channel to make sure that people can't just spam all of the channels like that. So I do believe in the code of conduct. We also have don't be spamming stuff or whatever. The one thing we did kind of loosen a little bit is apparently people in Discord, or the default Discord is don't share out other people's Twitches or Discords or whatever. And I don't know how it works for Twitch and other Discords where people are, playing games or something, and you're like, hey, here's my thing, whatever. In our Slack, I have no problems if you post up, a B-sides announcement, or hey, check out my podcast, or whatever. The only thing we really have issues with is like, hey, I work for blah. We create a hypertext blockchain machine learning neural linguistic product that's going to revolutionize and kill the security industry. It's a silver bullet, blah blah blah. Yeah, that'll get you banned. But if you have an event, a meetup, if you have a podcast that is security related, I have no problems posting that up. I have never been in competition with anybody who does InfoSec stuff. Everybody has their own style that they enjoy. So defensive security is another good one. If you are interested in other podcasts of a security bent, www, I think it's defensivesecurity.com. I want to believe that that's the right one. They've longtime friends of ours, Andrew and Callett. Defensive security podcast. There you go. I did spell it's .org. Okay. So, so defensivesecurity.org. That's a good podcast to go to if you want to listen to a different bent. They do mostly news, and it's fine. I've been doing mostly news here on the stream because I've only got so much content that you can put out in the day. And to be honest, I want to do something that would benefit everybody in this case. So defensive security is good. And Andrew Callett and Jerry. Oh crap. Okay. Andy and Jerry. Yeah. Why can I not remember Jerry Bell. But yeah, they do a lot of good discussions. Looks like the last one they put out was the 20th of January. They've come a long way in their careers. So I mean, they've come from middle management to Jerry's now kind of a big deal at where he works. So obviously time is precious to him, and maybe he doesn't have as much anymore to do so. So they still get together and put out a great show every time they do. And I don't. They do great work. So, in addition to our own podcast, which I just posted up, part 1 of our discussion last week on process improvement, automating security processes or other processes in this case. So, I mean, there's a lot to learn on the internet. I mean, there's I think Hacker Valley podcast. Let me see, Hacker Valley podcast. Hacker Valley podcast. It is Hacker Valley Media. Yeah. I believe this is it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, they had Hacks for Pancakes on talking about industrial control system issues. Jesse Bolton with the Great Resignation and cybersecurity, and then Getting Your Brand Notice with Samuel Tyler. So they do a lot of great stuff as well. They do different ones: Hacker Valley Blue, Cyber Ranch, Breaking Through in Cybersecurity Marketing. There's a ton of stuff that they do. So they've broken this out into various ones. So hackervalley.com is another great podcast to go listen to. I have a little more time today, being the weekend, so I'm just kind of hanging it out here. So if you noticed, I'm on Wireshark. I was looking through some tweets today, as I am wont to do, And one of the things that came up was malwaretrafficanalysis.net had posted up a tweet about some a PCAP that they had. Let me see, do I still have that tweet out? I believe is it this one here? Yeah, I think it's this one here, Sunny Station. So this is a great website if you want to learn how to analyze PCAP files. And I will give you fair warning, any and all of the things on here, you may actually run into some things that are actual malware, so you want to be kind of careful when you're doing this, or you know, and malware samples. See, and malware samples. That's the big. Don't bury the lead here. You're going to find PCAPs and malware samples. So just something to think about. But another good website if you're looking for understanding traffic analysis or being able to read through. So they've gone back a few years, all the way back to 2013. So they have a number of things here, various exploit kits. You know, you've got SIB host, Fiesta, Styx, Goon. I think the first time I ever heard of them, the Moon, I want to say it was called Moon EK, Moon Exploit Kit or something like that, was out, and found their website, and I've been following them ever since. Really excellent stuff. And yeah, they have exercises on traffic analysis that go back several months. And usually what you want to do is there's two ways you can do these exercises. One is get Wireshark, which is the reason I went here. Downloaded Wireshark. The only thing is I installed it, and then the last thing it says is, oh, do you want to restart? No, not yet, because I'd be streaming, and that wouldn't be good. But you know, at some point in the future, I do want to run through some, you know, PCAP files, and, you know, potentially, you know, do some of the exercises that don't include malware analysis. It might be fun if you're interested in doing so. You know, there's plenty of places to go and grab those. Let me go ahead and put that in the general chat here for everybody. HallwayCon, think. All right. So as you can see, a lot of our discussions during the you know, I intend to treat our Discord kind of like how we did our Slack. I know for some of you who are longtime members on the Slack, it's going to cause you some consternation, and that's fine. I completely understand those feelings. I find myself sometimes torn between, you know, Discord and Slack, and I've given reasons on here why, you know, we're moving to Discord. You know, pretty much for me, the cost on Slack is prohibitive, even for a nonprofit. The prices that they charge per person or per user is still quite extreme. I can't afford $2,200 a month, which is roughly how many users we have on Slack, and I assume we could, you know, qualify for the non-profit version, which was $1 per user per month. So unless we're pulling in $2,000 to $3,000 a month, I can't offset those costs. Even with the free Slack, if we decided to continue with free Slack, they have a limited number of integrations, and right now we're sitting at about 7 of 10 integrations, which means I'd have to give up some things would have to get out, and there's really a lack of bots, if you will, on there of note. Our friend Joe from, hold on a second, I'm going to see what Joe wants. Do we join via Twitch or Zoom? In this case, Joe, we're going to do Twitch. There you go. Yeah, so I mean, there's just too many negatives for Slack right now. If Slack had the same, and message archive was another thing. You only get 10,000 message archives. The only positive I like about Slack is their threading is much better than Discord's is. But I've been playing around with that a little bit too, and it's okay. So some of you I know are like, get to the tutorials. I appreciate that. I will work on that. Twitch. There we go. All right. So yeah, please feel free to join. As you can see, we already have 20 people on there now, which is 1% of what we have currently on our Twitch, our Slack. But, we'll grow, we'll get better, we'll learn. We're still, I would say, in a beta. So if you are watching this, you're going to get first dibs on joining our awesome community. And the community is what you make of it, as we know. So the community is only as good as the people who are in it. And we try to cultivate a guardrails, if you will, for the community. So we hope that you will come in and check out our community and contribute as you can. And we'll be doing, we have other things that we plan on doing that are non-InfoSec related. I have been trying to get a TTRPG started. So I enjoy playing role-playing games like, let me see, okay, Fate. I don't know if you can see that or not. And we have a couple of people who like to play 5e, D&D 5e. Fate is fun because it's very lightweight, and you can do a lot with it. You could even convert 5e and like Pathfinder stuff to Fate, but ideally we want to have like a game night or something like that. Somebody had mentioned karaoke as well. And then of course, for our patrons, our Patreon people, we have specific channels for them, of course. And boosters, if you don't do a lot of streaming, but you want to hang out in our Discord, the only way we'll get more functionality in there. I've already given it 5 of 7 boosts, but we need a couple more boosts to get us up to level 3 or whatever, which gives us additional message archives and such. So. I am the person that karaoke bars pay to come in at last call and make people leave. Oh my goodness. To be honest, I don't do karaoke. I mean, it would take a lot of Twitch bits, or it would take a lot of subs from people to get me to sing something. I tend to, I don't do that kind of stuff. That is definitely, Joe, that is definitely not something I do. Oh, Internet of Puppies. Hello, Internet of Puppies. We could do a duet then. I don't sing. I don't. I do sing, but it's usually in the shower or something like that. My karaoke recipe is measured in proof. Yes, it does require some substantial amounts of Malort or something to get myself blind, drunk to want to go up and do something like that. So, but I mean, everyone, Hall and Oates. Oh man, you almost got me. You almost got me to wanting to sing, but no. So we're, it is what it is. I mean, I guess I could set some obscene amount of money, and if somebody does in fact hit it, then I will sing a song. But it will take quite a bit of it would take quite a bit of work to get that to happen. So anyway, the advisory board. So the advisory board's kind of interesting. That's going to be a Patreon level that I've worked out in my head. We have currently, I believe, Shecky is going to be the only person that is qualified for that one, because we're gonna put that at the $20 level in our Patreon, and what that's going to do is allow you to help us guide the direction of the community, which is a very powerful thing. Of course, it has to be within keeping of the nonprofit, the InfoSec Education Foundation. So, if you want to start talking about, hey, we should, invite blockchain people in or roll NFTs or something like that, you're going to have a hard sell on that. So, so Joe, all proceeds will go to Nova Ukraine. I will sing as people pay me to shut up. Okay. So what you're saying is you're singing right now and you want people to pay to shut you up. That's good. That's good. Good thinking there, Joe. That would be very, very good. Oh my goodness. I'm imagining you singing something from Hall & Oates, or "Ooh, that smell," that one, that kind of thing. That's all you're going to get from singing for me today. I'm tapped. I'm tapped out. So, let me see. So yesterday we went through. Oh man, that wasn't very nice. We went through on TryHackMe. We did the auth bypass stuff. And of course, that went far longer than I actually expected it to. I'd like to thank, I think it was Cyber Gladius, who had mentioned, or no, either him or Easy Sidestep, about the paste option here. So, you know, the copy paste was giving me a lot of trouble, and I'm sure everybody was like, you know, super cringe about me having to fat finger things in. What I found out, and for those of you who are following along and using TryHackMe, you can right click, copy. The little pullout right here has a clipboard on it, and you paste it into the clipboard here, and then through the magic of the internets, I don't know how it works, some kind of web socket potentially, you can put it in that box and then Control-Shift-V, and then it drops it right into the terminal. Isn't that cool? Everybody's, you know, helping out, which I appreciate. So yeah, it was good. And then of course you can make it full screen if you want, or show extra keys. I don't know what that, oh, Control Alt, the Windows key. I typically connect my personal VM directly via VPN and then copy paste, yeah, from the terminal. Yeah, Ocension, the Ocension who you see in the chat is also Joe, who was on Discord. But yeah, I did splurge and get the premium version, so I could go in and set up the terminal and the Open VPN or whatever. But I was trying to keep it as low use as possible. I mean, I'm already streaming something over the internet, so I didn't know how much additional bandwidth the Open VPN would take or what have you. So looks like you can send tabs, you can send escapes, and send Control-Alt-Delete. I would assume those are for Windows-based machines. So, but yeah, there we are. Anyway, so that will save me some time and effort on some of this just fat fingering this in. And I do apologize if it sounds like I'm completely out of breath. When it's nice, I like to go running. So I did 3-4 kilometers today. And, you know, I'm going to be doing more of that. So trying to stay active and not, you know, die early at an early age. So yeah, so I'm working on that. Hello, Jonas690420 and JTTRay3. They all followed, and Control-Alt-Delete. You are send me a DM on Discord if you decide to join it, or you know, whisper to me, and I will give you an invite, and also set your roll up for subscriber channel if you wish. So thank you all for coming. All right. So IDOR, what is IDOR? IDOR is it's called insecure direct object reference. Now, see, I've been calling it wrong the whole time. I've just been calling it indirect object reference. So that is, I am incorrect in that respect. So there you go. I have been corrected, thankfully. I do love learning new things. So I appreciate being corrected when I know when I don't know I'm wrong. So there you go. It is a type of access control vulnerability. This type of vulnerability can occur when a web server receives user-supplied input to retrieve objects, so files, data, documents, content. We talked about content stuff, files, data, documents, etc. But too much trust has been placed on the input data and is not validated on the server side to confirm the requested object belongs to the user requesting it. Just in case you got here late, wait 1 second. I'm going to flash that up there. All right, spoiler text, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. All right, so this one's easy enough. What does IDOR stand for, or IDOR? There we go, and it is insecure direct object reference. So there you go. That one's easy enough, and it's correct. And I'm on streak 4. Sweet. I'm 3 away from a badge. Nice. If I get 7 days straight, then I must be doing something right. If you're following along, thank you for following along with us here as we learn how to do things like hacking of web apps. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to join in the Slack, either the Discord chat or the stream chat. So I'd like to thank Academy Impossible for being here. Another TTV viewer. Awesome. Thank you. A vase, Ava Semaphore. Okay, I got that one. It's you got to split the names up just right on some of these. Bing Cortana, hello. Big Damn Judge, hello, how are you? Cosimo Twitch, Cyber Gladius, of course, welcome. See Magnesium CW, Jonas 690420, talked about you. Nerdy Dreams, NXVL, The Ascension, of course, Joe Gray. Just as a heads up, we make no bones about the fact that we're kind of a lightweight OSINT social engineering channel. We definitely, and this is the cross promotion stuff I was talking about earlier. I have no bones about you going over and hanging out in the Ascension. None whatsoever. If you're like, I don't, there seems like there's not a lot going on over in the OSINT SOC engine. I really am interested in social engineering stuff. Head your ass over to the Ascension there, and you can join them. They've got roles based stuff. They're doing a ton of stuff over there. So definitely hook up with that Discord. If you want to. You can also do classes in there. I did classes with Joe. Joe does those on a semi-regular basis. I believe he has a class schedule, or he will announce things if you want to learn how to up your OSINT game or help out with some of the CTFs, like the Trace Lab stuff that we talked about during Sunflower Con. So just a heads up there. He's not paying me to advertise his Discord, and you might think it's a little weird that I'm doing that, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I have no problems with doing that. So, okay. So back to IDOR examples. Insecure direct object reference. Insecure direct object reference. Yeah. Imagine you've just signed up for an online service and want to change your profile information. The link you click on goes to http://profile/profile/ user 1305. Okay, so the 1305 is going to be important here. And the insecure direct object reference will do things like enumerate those IDs. And so curiosity gets the better of you. So you're hey, I wonder what happens if I, made user ID 1303 or something like it, or like in this case, 1000. It says you can change the user value ID to 1000 instead, and to your surprise, you can see another user's information. You've now discovered an IDOR vulnerability. Ideally, there should be a check on the website to confirm that the user information belongs to the user logged in requesting it. This can be I don't want to call it a type of web auth bypass, but you could sign up to a website for, 7 days, for instance. Like, what was it I just signed up for 7 days? It was a bot or something. And, if you had a URL that was like http discordbots.thm/profile user ID, 8112, and I was like, well, I wonder what happens, and that gives me the admin dashboard for my bot, let's say. And I went 8111, and it just happens to be someone else. That could be a type of bypass of authentication, because it is not actually verifying that I am that, I am not the person connected to that account. It just says, oh, you're logged into the system, so you get free reign. It's almost like being full admin somewhere. So, all right. So using what you've learned above, click on the View Site button. Hey, I missed the room. Which room, Queenza? And welcome. Hey, how you doing? We just kind of started on this, so we're only on task 1. It's the first answer wasn't difficult. It's just insecure direct object reference. The Discord invite is up above in the channel here if you are looking for that, unless there's something else I missed. So there's the invite for that. So all right, so what is the flag from the IDOR example site? So we need to go to the sample site. All right, let's try it. Let's try our fancy copy paste here. No, I don't think you've missed anything. So I did. Somebody did tell me how to copy paste between browser and everything, so that was something that we came up with. All right, so Control C, and then that. Oh, and then the clear button, which is helpful. Clear. All right. And then Control-Shift-V. No. All right, let's cancel. Oh, wait. Okay, I screwed that up. All right. Okay, Control-V. All right. And then Control-V. Oh, man, look at that. So much easier. Okay, what is the flag from the IDOR site example? All right, so link you click on goes to user ID 1305. Let's start with 1305 first. Is it? I hope it's not erroring out on me here. Let me. Okay, so TryHackMe.com worked. To your surprise, ideally there should be a check on the site using what you've learned. The view. Oh, I'm sorry. View site button. See, that's what I get for not grokking what I needed to do. Okay, so ideally there should be a check on the site. Try and receive a flag by discovering and exploiting an IDOR vulnerability. So we'll go here. Order number 1234 has been shipped. Remember, your next order from online store will get 10% off. Okay. Okay, so what you see here is onlinestore.thm/order/1234/invoice. So, okay, and then ideally you can go to order 1000. There you go. So you go in. Oh, let me see if I can make this bigger here. I'm just going to make the whole damn browser bigger, ain't I? All right. So you changed this from 1234 to 1000, or I'm sorry, 1305 to 1000, 1305, and then you would change this because this is the different versions. So what you got is THM IDOR. Oh, okay, I got to shrink that back down because I've lost everything at this point. All right. There you go. THM IDOR vuln found. Done. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Finding IDORs in encoded IDs. So when passing data from page to page, either by post data, query strings, or cookies, web developers will often first take the raw data and encode it. Encoding ensures the receiving web server will be able to understand the contents. Encoding changes binary data into ASCII. That's ASCII. ASCII is how I pronounce it. Other folks might have a different way of pronouncing it. String commonly using the AZ lowercase, A to Z uppercase, O through 9, or 0 through 9, and the equal sign. So yeah, most common encoding technique is base 64. Remember yesterday, we talked a little bit about base 64 for, we decoded and encoded that to get that flag, if you remember. Base 60, so base64decode.com, base 64 encode. So yeah, you take the value here. You can either go to encode or decode to, decode or encode them. And yeah, I mean, this is very much how, I think I mentioned in one of my earlier streams about the state of Missouri and how somebody was able to view source on the website and get base 64 encoded PII from that website. The governor there obviously was unaware of how real hacking works and just assumed that somebody had done something illegal in there. To their credit, it wasn't just plain text, but it was in base 64, which, as you can see, is fairly useless in terms of that. But yeah, this is how it was encoded to either obfuscate it or make it so that it was harder to find. The Missouri felony, yes, yes, Joe Gray, yes. As we heard in the news recently and I heard it from Risky Business, they had said that the Attorney General, the District Attorney in the state, or the California, or not, I'm sorry, St. Louis County, did not decide to go ahead with the prosecution. I'm assuming only because it was a waste of taxpayers' time and would have made Missouri look even dumber than their governor, which, you know, it's a pretty high bar, to be honest. And I apologize if you live in Missouri, but I grew up there, so I know. I know. Anywho, yeah, so, and can be usually pretty easy to spot. That's right. I mean, you can almost tell if it's alphanumeric and with an equal sign, or sometimes it'll have equal at the end. Yes, Joe. Yes, and unfortunately, I have lived in Mississippi. I did love Biloxi. I went there for about 8 months for A school when I was in the Navy. I loved Biloxi, except for the salt fog. I'd never seen salt fog before. That was an interesting concept there. And Texas, of course, I lived in Austin for about 8 years, or outside of Austin. So you couldn't pay me enough to live there now, sadly, but because it is a lovely town, it is a lovely area to live in near Lake Travis. So, all right, so you can use websites like Base64 Decode to decode the string, then edit the data and recode it again using Base64 encode.org and resubmit the web request to see if there's a change in response. See the image below as a graphical example of this process. So let me make it a little bigger here and we'll see what we can get out of that. So what we've got is we have a value, in this case EBJ, PTY, blah, 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 blah. It's going to decode it to ID equals 30 so that it changes the user string to ID 30. You can change, sorry, Joe. You don't have mod access anymore. I may have took your mod access away. I do apologize for that. You can put it in the Discord if there's a link in the Discord you'd like to do. You can tamper with the ID, so ID 10 in this case, so it's changing the value to 10. Then you re-encode that back up to the same value, except looks like there's only been a minor change. Oh, CyberChef. Okay. Yeah, CyberChef's another good one. Definitely a good resource, which does, I think, more than just Base64 decoding. I believe CyberChef was the place that I went to for one of our DerbyCon challenges when we were doing a CTF for the podcast. I think it has like the Enigma cipher stuff in there as well, which is kind of cool. If you ever want to encode something, use like the Enigma ciphers from World War II or other things. It's kind of fun. So yeah, you change it to ID 10, encode it, and then you get the same value back. The only thing that's changed, it appears, is the capital T. So sometimes you can cut out the middleman if you know exactly what you need to change inside the hash or the Base64 encoding. Sorry, encoding is not hashing. Encoding is not hashing. Hashing is not encoding. Well, hashing could be encoding anyway. But yeah, you wouldn't even have to go through the encoding decoding process if you knew exactly what you needed to change there. Then you submit, and then you get your indirect object reference. So answer your question below. What's a common type of encoding used by websites? In this case, it would be Base64. Submit. Done. Okay. Hashed IDs are a bit more complicated to deal with than encoded ones, but they may follow a predictable pattern, such as being the hashed version of the integer value. For example, the ID number 123 would become 202 if MD5 hashing were in use. Yeah, this is where those word lists would come in handy. So if you know that it's, if you can crack this hash and it's an MD5 hash, you know that. And then you can realize that equals 123. You could say, well, okay, then give me what is 0 through 200 or something like that. You can billions of hash values to view results. So, what is a common algorithm used for hashing IDs? MD5. I would suggest not using MD5. If you're going to do this, you would want to use something that's a little harder to crack. But if your ID number is only 3 digits, you can run SHA-256 on, all 3 digits or 4 digits or 5 digits. I mean, it's not, you can have the hash, but if you decide you want to run, let's say you start out with a 5-digit number, it's not going to be hard to hash those 256 values. So it's not perfect. It would be easier for you to, run the hash on, 123 versus trying to crack this if it was something other than MD5. So, all right. Anybody have any questions? Queenza, are you doing all right? How you doing? see, who else has joined us for streaming today? L.A. Kaylee, hello. I think it's Final Fantasy 14 Sticks. That's a good one. Ava Semaphore, of course, yeah. Abjul, yeah, Abjuul. I'm sorry, Abjuui. It's like tiny font. So yeah. OOW0P. That's an interesting one. I'd love to hear how that one's pronounced. OOW0P. If you've got, if you're listening, let me know. Etetro, YTT Retro. There you go. And viewer of IRL. So there you go. All right, cool. Thank y'all for hanging out. Feel free to, like Alt Delete did today. If you feel you've gotten value from understanding insecure direct object references. Feel free to, show some love either on the Discord chat invite or, come and build out our community for us with us. Unpredictable IDs. If the ID cannot be detected using the above methods, an excellent method of IDOR detection is to create two accounts and swap the ID's numbers between them. If you can view the other's content using their ID number while still being logged in, I should have taken a nap after my run, but yeah, apologies. If you can view the other's user content using the ID number while still being logged in with a different account or not logged in at all, you still found a valid IDOR vulnerability. What is the minimum number of accounts you need to check for IDORs between accounts? Well, they said 2, so the answer is 2. This one's way easier than the auth bypass stuff. I'm loving this. The other thing is, if you may have a user ID of 123. You may just be a regular user in the environment. So like Discord, let's say, my user number is 123 in Discord, and there's some kind of URL where you can change it to, I have admin's rights. So, somebody joining, like, let's say Alt Delete joins the Discord and he's, user 555. If he changes that and there's an IDOR vulnerability, it would also grant him like epic level access to our Discord, which would cause other things, not just simple viewing of records or what have you. Hello, Internet of Puppies, and YTT Retro. YTT Retro, sorry, I don't mean to derail, but YTT Retro, she's awesome. She's working on a whole VR room. We were talking before the stream. She's like, she loves her some VR goggles. I just pick her brain because I like to understand how VR tech is moving. I want to get some, but I have motion sickness, so I don't know if any of the newer technologies will actually work with me, or if I'll use them for like 20 minutes and I'll be sick all day. So, don't like roller coasters, don't like massive, jerky, abrupt movements, and my equilibrium is janky as it is. So, YTT Retro, go check out. She's going to be setting up some streaming soon too, so you definitely want to check her out. Also, she's one of the moderators on our Discord, so reach out and ask her about VR technology if you're interested. So, anywho, where are they located? So, a vulnerable endpoint you're targeting may not always be something you see in the address bar. It could be content your browser loads via an AJAX request, or something that you find referenced in a JavaScript file. Sometimes endpoints could have an unreferenced parameter that may have been of some use during development and then got pushed to production. That never happens. No, they don't, they don't forget, removing parameters in development when they're pushing stuff out to production, says somebody who's seen it a lot. Anyway, you forget things. Hard-coded credentials are a thing, and it's usually the hard-coded credentials are, well, we use this to test in the development environment, and yes, we make doubly sure and we have controls in place to remove that stuff. More often than not, sometimes you forget. And it's just one of those things. It's something security people have been trying to reduce over the years, as part of, secure configurations. So these things do happen. So you may notice a call to user details displaying your user information authenticated through your session, but through an attack known as parameter mining. You discover a parameter called user_ID that you can use to display other users' information. For example, user details, user ID 123. Well, damn, this one was easy. I'm done. There was no question. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, well, now we're going through the practicals. So let's see what this is all about. All right. So we started the machine. It started. Click the link below and open it in the web browser. Let's start the machine. Okay. I don't know why it wants me to start the machine again, but it looks like lab web URL is not functional here. So, all right. So let's read through the exercise and then we'll see what we get to. Firstly, you need to log in. To do this, click on the customer section and create an account. Once logged in, click on the Your Account tab. Your account, the Your Account section gives you the ability to change your information such as username, email, address, and password. You will notice the username and email fields are pre-filled with your information. We'll start by investigating how this information gets pre-filled. If you open your browser developer tools, so we talked about that in previous chapters or previous examples, that's the F12 button. Select the network tab, then refresh the page. You'll see a call to an endpoint with the path /API/v1/customer ID equals and a user ID. So I need to exit out of this, but I do not know how to do so. Let's go back to the attack box. There we go. Okay. I don't know what the IDOR part is. I'll have to figure out how to kill that in a minute. So, all right. So we will copy link, Control V, and then Control V. Man. Man, I should, yeah, okay. Anyway, you have no idea how much easier that feels for me. So, all right, so we will hit enter. All right, so this is the IT support website. Sorry. Okay. All right, so we will go to, let me see, click on the customer section and create an account. So do not have an account, sign up here. The funny thing is all right, so username is ghost@ghost.com. I figure I'll give Bob at bob.com a bit. And no, I don't need a securely generated password. So let's just do, again, summer 2022. Summer 2022. Again, I do not recommend you ever make a real password for a real account with summer 2022. Just to let YTT Retro know that I am not crazy and that I do that on the reg. Yeah. So we sign up. All right. Don't save. All right. So this is the dashboard. Remember yesterday the last session we did with this on auth bypass used this dashboard. In some ways, I like this dashboard better because it's very straightforward other than something like Jira or what have you. So if you use Jira, you understand my pain. So there you go. All right. So if you open your browser tools, right? Okay, browser tools, which is, you can go here to the little hamburger button and go web developer. And then, let's see, what was it? Browser developer tools, yeah. Web console. There you go. All right. You can also hit F12 if you want. I just didn't know if it would open it up on the browser side or inside the VM. So, All right, so we will go to the network tab like it suggests. Okay, so we need to reload the page to see network activity. All right, and then you will see a call to an endpoint. Call, let's see, call to a path API v customer. Wait a minute. Your account, you'll know. If you open your browser tools, select the network tab, then refresh the page, you'll see a call to path. Okay, so customers. So it's this one here. No. All right, let's see. JS, no. Okay, stop with all of that jibba jabba right there. There we go. Okay, I feel like I've missed something. Your account, there it is. Okay, yeah, that's what we needed right there. You needed to go to your it says your account section. My bad. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, API v1 customer ID equals 15. So there we go. So we are the 15th customer. This page returns in JSON format your user ID, username, and password. Our user ID, username, and email address. You can see from the path below, user information shown is taken from the query strings parameter ID. So ID equals 15. You can try this ID parameter for IDOR vulnerability by changing ID to another user's ID. Try selecting users 1 and then 3, and then answer the questions below. So let's change it to 3. Nope. Okay, so how does one make those changes? Let's see here. Request? No. Headers. All right, so let's see, raw. Okay. I'm going to see if I can make this a little smaller here. Yeah. Okay, I can't do that. Oh, yeah, I did dork my browser though. Dang it. All right. Scroll down. All right. Let me see. Cookies, trace security, filter headers. No. I've got it. Okay. So all right. I am a little stuck on how to change the ID here. Is it, am I not? Okay, there it is. Edit and resend. So there we go. All right. So you want to right click on it and edit. There will be an edit and a resend. So what you want to do is go to the query string down below, type in 1, and then send. All right. So there should be some more stuff on the website. That's not what I wanted. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Let's see what's going on here with this. Edit and resend. Edit 3. All right, let's do 1 first, of course. Okay, so does it tell me what the customer's name is in the request itself? Does not appear to be the case. Maybe I can go back to dashboard. Nope. Let me shrink up my size here. Okay. That didn't do much. Let's do 3. Not that it would do anything different here, but okay. Request body, query string, resend. That is odd. Response. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you have to go look at the response tab. Did they say that in here, or did I just miss it? So once logged in, call an endpoint to the path, returns JSON, see from the path here. Oh, yeah, it's in the picture, but it was like, again, super tiny picture thing. So there you go. Oh, well, like you can click on it and it'll boost it up for you. There you go. So you got to go into the response and it'll give you the answers to that. Okay. See, I'm still learning. It's you know, learning experience. I'm making the mistakes so that you look good when you explain it to other people yourself. So there you go. You can work that route if you want to do that. So I have no problem with that. What is the email address for ID user 3? So fakemail.thm is the right answer. So fakemail.thm is the correct answer. All right. So what? This is, oh, email address. Oh, yeah, the whole thing. J at. There we go. Ding, whoop whoop, right answer. All right. So let me refresh the page here just to get all these additional customer bits out of here. All right, so we're going to edit and resend, and we're going to look for user number 1 and send. So we get customer ID number 1, which we're going to click on and go to the response. And the username for user 1 is Adam84. So there's the username. So Adam84. Ding. All right. Completed a room. Finger guns. Like when our daughter was small, it was fruit salad, yummy, you know, fruit salad, beauty mate, you know, with the wiggles and stuff. So we had the classic wiggles, not the ones that they have now. I think the ones that they have now are probably better, but you know, it is what it is. So anybody have issues with that? Anybody going through with this? Queens, did you have any issues completing this? You're probably sitting here waiting for me to figure out the answers, I'd imagine, but any questions, comments, or concerns? We can Google them together if you have any issues. Okay, all right. So let's see. We can go through and do file includes and see how far we get on that. I think. Let me see. Let's go back to the dashboard. Maybe I should shrink up my UI a little bit here to. There we go. Back to 125%. So. All right. Oh, cool. I am ranked 194,000th or something. Hey, no problem. Yeah. Cool. All right. File inclusions. So we're going to do file inclusion vulnerabilities, including LFI, RFI, and directory transversal. Directory transversal is, boy, that gets ugly real quick. And I mean, it's so easy to exploit that. I mean, it's having seen it and made it happen in person, it's pretty fun when you can get like Etsy password or Etsy shadow from a directory transversal, or yeah, it's good stuff. It's really fun. All right, so file inclusion. This room aims to equip you with the essential knowledge to exploit file inclusion vulnerabilities, including LFI or local file inclusion, remote file inclusion, RFI, and directory transversal. Also, we will discuss the risk of these vulnerabilities if they're found and the required remediation. We provide some practical examples of each vulnerability as well as hands-on challenges. In some scenarios, web applications are written to request access to files. I think I started on that one but didn't finish the file transversal. Oh yeah, no worries. if you can follow along. If I'm doing something wrong, let me know. Or if you had any questions about any of the lessons, just let me know. We'll work it out. Okay. Oh, thank you, YTT Retro, for the follow. Appreciate that. I've known her for a few years, so I didn't expect her to follow me, but it was nice to have more friends join us here. So. All right, so in some scenarios, web applications are written to request access to files on a given system, including images, static text, and so on via parameters. Parameters are query strings attached to the URL that can be used to retrieve data or perform actions based on user input. Following graph explains and breaking down. The following graph explains and breaking down. I want to say it explains and breaks down the essential parts of the URL. So in this case, you've got your protocol, HTTP, the domain name, which is webapp.thm, the file name, which is get.php, and that's just it's a script, right? So get it's an action. So, and then it takes as a query or a parameter query, the file. So it's in somewhere in this script, it's like get, $file, and in this case, file will equal user cv.pdf, and it passes the PDF into the script, and then eventually the PHP file will run it in this case. Or process it, or do whatever it is that PHP script is going to do to it. It may, there's even ones like delete.php file and then whatever. So you could say, if you have a CMS that's web-based or something back in the day that ran on PHP, you may be able to change get.php to delete.php and then file equals whatever and delete files off a directory. Or I'm sure at some point we'll be able to upload .php, which would be uploading files to a specific directory. Anyway, parameters used with Google searching, where get requests pass user input into the search engine. For example, search query TryHackMe. Sorry, if you are not familiar with the topic, you can review the How the Web Works module to understand the concept. Right. So yeah, anytime you do a Google search, you get a query TryHackMe. It makes it easy to incorporate, a URL with a simple search parameter there. So, all right, let's discuss a scenario where the user requests access to access files from web server. First, the server sends the request over HTTP to the web server that includes a file to display. For example, if a user wants access and displays their CV or curriculum vitae, it's resume. For those not in the understanding, it's a resume. Within the web application, the request may look as follows: get PHP file user cv.pdf, where the file is the parameter and the user cv.pdf is the required file to access. And this is a nice graphical drawing of what that looks like. And then it goes down here after he uploads it to the web app. Get PHP is stored in the app directory under www under var under the root directory. So it's /var/www/app/cvs, and then the file is located 1, 2, 3, 4 levels down in the CVs directory. What we're going to do eventually will be to go up into these folders here. So this might be Etsy up here. This might be temp. This might be another one of some kind. On the home directory. It might be the home directory exactly. /home /var/Etsy /logs or something like that. Why do file inclusion vulnerabilities happen? So file inclusion vulnerabilities are commonly found and exploited in various programming languages for web applications such as PHP that are poorly written and implemented. That is a very true statement. The main issue of these vulnerabilities is the input validation, in which the user inputs are not sanitized and validated and the user controls them. When the input is not validated, the user can pass any input to the function causing the vulnerability. What is the risk of file inclusion? It really, like they're saying, it depends. It depends on what you can get to. Sometimes it matters if they're using a PHP that is not running as root or running with elevated permissions. So it may limit where you can put files or put certain things in the system. So let me see. If the attacker can use file inclusion to read sensitive data, you can read sensitive data like Etsy password or Etsy shadow. That will give you knowledge of what is going on in the back end of the system on the OS level, which for those of you not versed in Linux, Etsy password will tell you the usernames, the user IDs, home directories, whether or not you can log in interactively. Etsy shadow is pretty much the hashed passwords of those users. So it's like it'll show you the user ID and then a hash in this case. And depending on how the hash is stored in there, you can actually tell what kind of hash it is. Older versions of Linux stored them in less secure hashing formats. Even older versions of Linux didn't have an Etsy shadow at all and stored the passwords in the Etsy password directory. Etsy shadow, I would say, is a relatively recent. I mean, I've always had an Etsy shadow, but I've only been here 15 years. But Linux goes back almost 40 years. So, yeah, at one point, Etsy password had usernames and passwords in them, and then people realized, oh, we need security, so we need to put that in. Let me see. All right. So, moreover, if the attacker can somehow write to the server as in the /temp directory, exactly, 100%, then it is possible to gain remote command execution, RCE. That is holy grail right there. Remote code exec or remote command exec is. I've also seen it called remote code exec. It really just depends on the vulnerability. I can understand remote command execution. Yeah. However, it won't be effective if inclusion vulnerability is found with no access to sensitive data and no writing ability to the server. So this is kind of telling here. It's like not giving it the ability to write sensitive data or having access to sensitive data or no writing ability to the server. Ways around this would be putting in things like jails, where if you run your PHP in a jail, which is you tell the OS that the top level of the jail, in this case / would be like var temp or var www. So all the processes that run inside of var www believe that var www is / and it can't go any higher than that. There are ways to break out of jails. Jails kind of became what we, I don't want to say people thought of this as the idea and it became containers, but the first time I started using like shrooted environments, which is another type of environment like a jail or what have you, on OpenBSD, you could actually shroot or chroot your environment. Let's go take a look at that. Shroot. Yeah, see, when you do a search, you're doing shrooted jails. So Phoenix NAP. So shroot or change root is a Unix operation that changes the apparent root directory to one specified by the user. You can actually, exactly, foo bar, exactly. Yeah, in some Linuxes, it's as easy as creating, shroot jail. If we try to shroot to the new directory, we get the following output. So there you go. Operation not permitted. You must enable the bash command before you can shroot into the new directory. Requires copying the command file and all associated libraries. That's where it becomes a real pain in the ass. Because you're telling bash in this case to, go into, var www or whatever. You have to have the bash executable and all the libraries that bash uses. So it does take a little work to get your shroot set up properly. And depending on the application, that can get real hairy as well. I seen somebody try to put, I think, Oracle database in a shroot. I had to laugh when they suggested it. I mean, it would make Oracle more secure than it normally is, but the amount of work needed to put it in a shroot was actually probably easier just to secure the host system instead of, make the host system the shroot in this case, than try to put it in its own shrooted directory. But anyway, I digress. I will, if you would like to know more, I will put that link in the chat. Okay, I didn't want all of the little text bits. That's kind of annoying with Control C. There's other, you can also just, do a search for shroot jails or something like that. If you want to go that much further. So anyway, all right. So, oh, well, this one doesn't have a question to it. Okay. All right, deploy the VM. Start le machine. Okay, may need a few minutes. All right, deploy the attached VM to follow and apply the technique as well as do the challenges. In order to access this VM, you must make sure to connect to the TryHackMe network by OpenVPN or access directly from attack box. Please visit IP address machine looks as follows. Okay. All right. So everyone doing all right today? Hope, thank you all for sticking around with me. We did have a number of people before. Oh, we've got a few more people here. Roxy, hello. Rox Easy. That's a good one. I like that name. Underworld Naiad, of course. Hello. A10, A-A-T-E-N, Aten, A10, yeah. Big Damn Judge is back, hello. Black Heroes Everywhere, hello. Cyber Gladius, of course. Is there anything going on in our Discord channel that I should be noticing? Let me see. Oh, I didn't shut that off. Okay, yep. Sorry, one of my hobbies is role-playing games, which is something I would like to do as part of our stuff here. So, hallway chat. Let's see. Have to bounce, have fun. Okay, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. All right. Yeah, saving my voice. 2 in-person trainings this month and a few remote ones. So yeah, Joe definitely does a lot of OSINT-related trainings if you're interested in doing that stuff. So go and reach out to him if you have questions. So, all right. So we need to go to 1010, 217, 196. 10, 10, 217, 196. Okay. Oh, man. Did I get it wrong? No, I did not get it wrong. Bad gateway. All right, let me terminate the box here. And start the box again. Terminate. All right, I'll start the machine over again just in case. Obviously, it might be user error, but we'll see. So yeah, while we're booting it up, yeah, I like role-playing games. I have a regular system, and there's enough free stuff online where you don't actually have to buy a lot of books. But I will tell you that my drive-through RPG bookshelf is obscene, and I will tell you right now, if you want to fish me, if you can get me a convincing Kickstarter fish, I'll click on it every time. Something I have to work on, but yeah, I have kickstarted so many things in the RPG realm that it is obscene, and probably should find some way to curtail that myself. But yeah, there's so many things, especially with something like Fate. You can convert a lot of this stuff in here that was made for Pathfinder or 4E, 5E or what have you, into something that's very thematic and whatever. So me and a couple of friends are hopefully going to be starting something up soon, and I would like to stream it on here. People are like, well, it's not InfoSec related, but I have to remind myself that there are plenty of channels on TV that say one thing and actually do another. TLC used to be called the Learning Channel. Not exactly sure it's much learning anyway, but all right, where's my Oh, start attack box. There we go. Okay, well that's not very nice. I thought it would be done by now. All right, 250.25. That makes it for easy times. There we go. Okay, 250.25. Once you've deployed the VM, please wait a few minutes. Dude, thank you, Queens. I appreciate that. Yeah. Queensy, do you play role-playing games? Do you have anything you enjoy playing? Any games, video games? Everyone seems to like that Elden Ring right now. And of course, one of the things I saw when I was, learning how to be a better streamer was somebody had said, don't stream Fortnite because there's only about 3,000 Fortnite streams out there right now. And if you're trying to set yourself apart, doing yet another Fortnite, yet another Fortnite stream is not going to set you apart from other folks. So, never been much of a gamer, but it seems to be popular. It is, and to be honest, I am tarnished. Well, thank you, YTT Retro. Yeah, the one thing that I love seeing is the it becoming more inclusive, because I know that probably for the first 25 years when it started, it was pretty much the domain of white dudes. And Elden Ring. Oh, okay. I don't play Elden Ring there, YTT. So yeah, I didn't understand that. But I love the advances that have been happening in the past 5 years, or even since the pandemic started, where it's becoming way more inclusive, and there's so many streams out there for folks in the LGBTQ communities, and just allowing people to do things like cosplay and building on those things. So I love seeing all the different ways that it's being, that the role playing is going. So I love seeing that. Yeah. All right. So one more second here. So you are tarnished. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to, now I'm intrigued, but, oh yeah, yeah. We have so Queenza just I hate to go back to the Discord, but I'm very happy that I was able to get this thing running. We have a game lounge, game general lounge, and a game. I called it the Games Arena, if you will. So we'll have a games arena for folks to talk about games that we're working on. I did have some additional rules inside that because I've seen enough streams to talk about all game systems have their thorns. Don't start holy wars about which system is superior to others. Do not disparage past and present players. I should add DMs or GMs here. I prefer director or game manager. Do not backseat GM. I've seen a lot of that on like high rollers and those where it's like, oh, you didn't do this, or you should have done this, or you should min-max the hell out of your character or whatever. Everyone plays differently. Rules lawyers can rules lawyer to themselves. So, don't, if you're quoting some obscure rule in some book somewhere, or what's on page 459 by heart, ideally the way we would like to play this is the rule of cool is God Emperor here. So it may not follow what's in D&D specifically or Fate specifically, but if it sounds cool and you would see Aragorn do it, or you would see Legolas, or whoever, we'll fudge it, if you will. So anyway. All right, let's go back to our file inclusion. All right, so we are back, hopefully, because now we need to test the URL again. All right, so... And of course, there may be opportunities for folks to join us on games. So if you do want to join a game, or you want to run something in our Discord, we'll have voice channels for that if everybody's wanting to do that. Come on, load you. Come on. Yeah. Okay, good. Yes. Excellent. All right. All right, it loaded. All right. Welcome. Here are the labs available to file include room. All right. So once you deployed, please get... Okay, so that's completed. All right. That one's done. All right, path traversal, also known as directory traversal, is a security vulnerability. Allows an attacker to read operating system resources, such as local files on the server running an application. The attacker exploits this vulnerability by manipulating and abusing the web application's URL to locate and access files or directories stored outside the root directory. Remember, we talked about var, www, apt, CVs. So in this case, we're going to find a way to use get PHP to actually go up into Etsy. See, exactly, Etsy password. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. I swear I've not read ahead on these. I'm reading this as you are. So yeah. Anywho, because that's just what an attacker does. They want Etsy password, they want Etsy shadow, they want some way to gain a foothold into the environment, and those are the two files that will get you there. All right, the following graph shows how a web application stores files in var www app. The happy path would be the user requesting the contents of user cv.pdf from var www app CVs. So you remember how we were doing it before. Get PHP will put this into CVs, and then it comes back in, and then you end up with the PDF there, and they're gonna do something to make it request passwd or password file to send that back to the customer, or to the customer, the bad guy. As you can see here, so what they've done is, by going ... which makes it say, I want you to go up one. So the PHP file says, I want you to go look for the file in var www app CVs, but then you can say // Etsy password. So it'll say, I want it to go all the way down here and then all the way back up here. So that's how Linux works for whatever reason. And Linux doesn't have any controls in that respect, so it won't say, hey, the PHP shouldn't do that. It will allow that. So we test out the URL parameter by adding payloads to see how the web application behaves. Path traversal attacks, also known as .. attack. Oh, okay, it's got another name. All right, take advantage. .. doesn't roll off the tongue. .. Okay. Moving the directory one step up using double dots. All right, so I talked about that. Then the attacker may find something as follows. Exactly. Suppose there isn't input validation and accessing the PDF files at this location, var www app CVs. The web application retrieves files from other directories, in this case Etsy password. The ... entry moves one directory until it reaches root, then it changes the directory to Etsy. So depending on the environment that you're in, you may have to put enough dots in there to kind of guess, because this PHP file may look 8 directories down, and if you need to get up to Etsy, you're going to need to put in like ... continue to do ... until you can actually massage the request enough that you get up to root and Etsy. I mean, you could put 45 ... in there. The only thing is, once it gets up to ... and then you're at the top directory, it won't go any further. It won't go any higher, and it'll just disregard the other ... So I mean, the easiest way would be to put like 45, 50 of those things in, but it may cause some issues in the parameters or whatever. So ideally, you want to be as efficient as possible, but I mean, if you know that it's only 4 directories down, then you can put 5 or something like that. So, all right. So yeah, the application sends back the file's contents. So, the PHP file, the PHP script is stupid. It doesn't go, well, am I really sending the PDF file? It doesn't care. It's like, I'll just send you whatever you want. So in this case, it will send me the Etsy password file. Which, of course, as you can see what the format is here. So you have the user, X. X is where the password used to be. So you can actually, I believe, and somebody will probably tell me if I'm wrong here, but the password, the actual plain text passwords would go in here before Etsy Shadow became a thing. This is the UID. The first one is UID 0 is root. GID is the group ID. So it's like in Windows, you're a member of administrators. Bob is an administrator. So Bob would have the UID of 1, and administrators would have the group ID, or the group membership number of 1 in this case. So let me see. This is the descriptor right here, the root. If you have some kind of weird name for root, like you called it, amazeballs or something, and then you would have to describe what amazeballs is. Oh, amazeballs is really the root server, or the root ID, or root user, or whatever. Like you can see down here where it says NATS, and it says NATS is the bug reporting system for admin. Okay. Root, that's the home directory that exists in, so /root, which is its own directory. Usually there shouldn't be a lot in there because ideally you shouldn't be logging in as root. And then bin bash, which is your shell. So when you log in as root, which you should not be necessarily logging in as root, but if you log in directly as root, you'll get bin bash. They were encrypted with Unix crypt. Okay, so yeah, but crypt, I believe the reason they moved it to shadow YTT was because crypt was easily breakable, was what I'm guessing, right? No, not crypto, for Christ's sake. Crypt Unix, there you go. Yeah. Crypt or Enigma was a utility program used, past tense, for encryption. Due to the ease of breaking it, it is considered obsolete. So if you're on an old enough machine, yeah, DES-based encryption. So correct. So some versions of Unix shipped with an even weaker version of crypt in order to comply with contemporaneous laws and regulations that limited the exportation of cryptographic software. So just sending out encryption back in, well, I don't know, I had the same problem when I was stationed on Diego Garcia. I could not easily download the high encryption Internet Explorer 6 with 128-bit encryption because it was IDOR controlled, sending out encrypted, pretty much like weapons or something. Yeah, IDOR, yep. International Trafficking in Arms Regulations. Encryption is considered an arms in this case, or a weapon, if you will. So earlier versions of Unix shipped with what amounted to a Caesar cipher, effectively no more secure than ROT13, right? So you can go look that up if you want to spend, when you start, this is a rabbit hole. Once you start down this, it's going to be 3 a.m. and you're going to be, reading about, quantum encryption security and stuff. YTT probably is shaking her head when she's like, yes, I did that. Or I have done that from time to time anyway. All right, so let me go back to what we're talking about here. So all right. So similarly, if the web application runs on a Windows server, the attacker needs to provide Windows paths. For example, if the attacker wants to read boot INI located at C://. I'm saying backslash because it leans back. That's the way I've always done it. It's, // It leans forward, leans back. I've heard people call them something different, but that's what if you call it something different, just know I'm calling this backslash, this // or just slash in this case. Then the attacker can try the following depending on the target version. So there you go. This is how you would do it in a Windows box or Linux box. So yeah, file, yeah. Same applies here as with Linux operating systems, where we climb directories until it reaches the root directory, which is usually C /. What the hell? It seems they got this mixed up. With Windows operating systems, I don't know why they did this. This should be Windows. I don't know why it's detecting my browser as a Windows box or Linux box. Anyway, but yeah, it would be C:// / Linux does them with the //. So sometimes developers will add filters to limit access to only certain files or directories. Some are common OS files you could use when testing. So Etsy issue, Etsy profile, proc version, which shows you the version of Linux kernel, Etsy password, Etsy shadow. We'll talk about Etsy shadow a little bit. Bash history. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, bash history. Sometimes you won't find the passwords you need in Etsy shadow. Hopefully you won't find them in Etsy password. But let's say you run an API command, or let's say you have an AWS environment using the CLI. I don't know if you still can put the API key inside the command itself, but if you look in bash history sometimes, certain commands you can do, usernames. Sometimes it'll ask you for a password. Ideally, you shouldn't put your password inside of commands like that, especially if you're hosting, if the history is in there. just thinking out loud. And it's not just commands for root user. Yeah. Varlog dmessage, that contains a dmessage, which is the DMESG. You may also see it as DMESG. It's the messages that start up when you're starting the machine. It would tell you things about the chipsets, what's installed, what kind of hardware is installed in the box, you know, those kinds of things. Mail route, so that's the routes, the mail spool, which back before email was a thing, they had the mail spool, which is a way of sending messages in text, pretty much, like send mail or what have you. But yeah, you used to be able to send people email over the mail spooler. So private SSH keys are excellent. With those, you can potentially pivot onto another box if you get access to somebody's root keys. SSH has gotten better with that, where it's like the permissions on your private keys have to be set a certain way. Also on the public keys as well. But yeah, you want to, usually SSH will not work if the permissions on .ssh is set. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, access logs for the web server. That's another one. I mean, depending on your application, it logs all kinds of things, including potentially API keys, depending on what the output looks like in your log file, or debugging messages, depending on how deep you're debugging things. So you may try something on a web server, and you might want to go see what the expected result was when you ran that. So you'll see what what the web server said when you did X. Right. var spool had all the spoolers for mail, fax, print, etc. Yeah, right. YTT retro. And then boot ini for Windows, as if that's the only file on Windows that really matters. Which that is a good point. There aren't too many files on Windows that will contain those things. I mean, Windows does have an Etsy password file. They have an Etsy hosts file, so they have an Etsy password file. It's not the same though, as if memory serves. Now, with the increase and the collaboration that things like Windows system or the WSL subsystems for running Linux items on Windows, you could potentially find, if you go // WSL / I think $, I think that's the Windows subsystem for Linux shares for your various VMs or what have you. If you're running, Debian or something like that. And then in case you have a fully fledged Linux system running on your Windows box, so these attacks still would be very, very cromulent or very, very applicable. All right, so. Oh wow, we're a little over. Okay, sorry, I got ranty, but it's the weekend. So, what function causes path traversal vulnerabilities in PHP? So, what causes path traversal? How long is the word? I think it's input validation. No, it's all one word, and it's one big long word. So, directory traversal vulnerabilities. Maybe. Let's go double check. What function causes path traversal vulnerabilities? No, okay, what function? What function? Let's see here. Path traversal. File get contents? I think that's probably it. Pass to a function such as file get contents. What function? Yeah, it's file get contents. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Quinza. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we could probably do one more. I think one or two more maybe. LFI. We'll do LFI, and then we'll save this either for tomorrow night. I think we have Miss Berlin coming on Monday night to talk about log analysis, which is something I think a couple of people have asked for, talking about log analysis that they've been interviewing recently on some log stuff. And you know what? I think we're going to stop because there's a lot of reading here, and I want to make sure that we've got time for everybody to do something. I'm a little a little bit tired, and so I think we'll keep it here. Just make sure that we can finish this up tomorrow. I already got my badge for today. It's almost like what is that, Duolingo or something, where it's like, you have a 100-day streak. I think I had a 500-day streak on Duolingo at one time when I was trying to learn French. And then one day I just forgot, and I was like, oh my God. And there were a couple days during that streak I was like 11:58 at night, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta go through a lesson real quick or whatever. I'll just pick an easy one. But yeah, I'm not sure I actually should have done that. But okay, so yeah, we'll come back to this and finish this either tomorrow evening or Sunday. Yeah, I think I was in Hawaii when my streak ended there. I was so tired. I laid down around like 10 o'clock at night and took a nap, and I was going to take a nap and just lay down for a second and rest my eyes, and I woke up at 6 the next morning. I was like, no. But yeah, so we've got a ton of stuff going on. The Discord, of course. Everybody can come in and hang out. We've got a bunch of channels. When you come in, you won't see these channels because we've made a lot of stuff private. The idea is we're, trying to make sure that people can get value from what we're providing. I know a lot of our Patreon supporters were asking questions about, hey, we've been supporting y'all for a while. Now that you're moving to this, or now that you're doing the stream thing, what can we see coming from this in the future? And I want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence on that. But yeah, I mean, we'll get you, if you subscribe here, or you send out some gift subs, including one for yourself, there's a subscriber area. It's a little sparse right now because, the people who have subscribed haven't joined, and we'll make sure we figure out that. Boosters would be anybody who might have, boosted or added Nitro or something to our Discord. The advisory board is a certain Patreon level where you'll be helping out with the direction of the Discord and the chats and stuff. And as you can see, we have our moderators. I'm one, Berber Prime, of course. I'm the server owner, and I'm the booster on that. Internet of Puppies, who's Y2T Retro here. And of course, Mr. Scott Pack, who is also one of our gamers. So he'll be playing either Fate or 5e or whatever we all agree on doing. Ideally, I'd love to do some like Curse of Strahd, but in a Fate version, which might be fun. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff. So we have Player Lounge for the games if you want to get involved with games or something like that. Not just role-playing games, but I'm trying to find copies of Backdoors and Breaches that we might be able to scan in and maybe use on like Roll20 or something like that, where you can draw a card from the deck and we'll play Backdoors and Breaches. And then of course Twitch subscribers, where I need to move the voice channel up for that, but we have a voice chat for our Patreon users as well. So anyway, hope everyone had fun today. Cool. Yeah. Queenza, we'd love to have you. I'm still fairly new with, doing RP, being a game manager or director myself. But I watch a lot of, I don't want to say I watch a lot of people and I think I can do it myself, but, it's a collaborative process, especially with games like Fate, where it's like very collaborative. It's like, what are the players actually doing or something like that. I actually seen one where it was a guy playing all by himself using what is called GME, which is the Mythic Games emulator, Mythic Games Emulator. And I thought about doing something like that, where it's like it's a small amount of money on. I already have this, full disclosure. Yes, of course. but it's just a chart, and based on certain chaos ranks and your dice rolls of D100, you ask a question, and if it's a yes, then you do this. If it's a no, then you do that. And certain events will actually change the chaos ranks and stuff like that. But if solo gaming is fun too. So and you can actually do it. There's numerous websites out there on how to play these with different modules and stuff that are going on. So. Oh, okay, yeah. Miss Berlin does Queensis. Miss Berlin does IR tabletop things. She is at InfoSec Role Play. That is, she does InfoSec Role Play. She does some tabletop events, doing incident response with a decidedly like D&D bent to it. So there's dice, and she pulls out the die 20s and stuff like that, and you take on the role of, say, the CISO or the PR people or the legal folks, and it's very much similar to that. I'm hoping that we can have her or Click, her counterpart, come in and help out with some of that, and maybe do one for us here online. Maybe we can get 3 or 4 people together and do that with them. They do them as workshops all over the country, in addition to some of the mental health hacker stuff that they do. So, but yeah, that's their Twitter handle. So they do IR tabletops and stuff. So, but yeah, if people are interested, we would love to help make our community what you would like it to be. We don't always know what's best for everybody. If you have ideas, we would love to hear them. If you want to see events, we would love to hear what the event looks like. Don't be surprised if we ask you to kind of maybe assist. I don't say, volunteers, but, if you have an idea and you know which direction you'd like to take with it, we can definitely talk about things like that. So anyway, all right, I think I'm done for today. I'm going to go and, veg out a little bit. Maybe end up taking a nap or going to bed early tonight because the running knocked me out today for some reason. So hope everyone comes back tomorrow. We'll finish up probably the LFI stuff, and we'll talk about what you want to talk about, because that's what's important is making sure that you're having fun. So hope everyone has a great night, and we'll talk to y'all soon.